Ferrari may have just received one of the most significant pieces of news ahead of Formula One's new era. The FIA has approved a mechanism that could completely change how manufacturers develop their power units from 2026. And Ferrari team principal Frédéric Vasseur believes it could prevent the championship from being decided before the new regulations have even had time to settle. Before we break down what this means for Ferrari, make sure you subscribe to the Paddock Vault and leave a like. It genuinely helps us bring you more Formula One stories from inside the paddock. Now, could this new rule finally increase Ferrari's chances of returning to the front? From 2026, Formula One will effectively press the reset button. The cars will feature completely redesigned chassis, active aerodynamics, new tires, and radically different power units. The electrical side of the engine will become far more important, while every car will run on fully sustainable fuel. For the manufacturers, this means developing almost everything from scratch, and that creates an obvious danger. Should one engine supplier misunderstand the regulations, it could begin the new era with a major performance deficit, one that might otherwise take several seasons to recover from. The FIA does not want a repeat of a situation where one manufacturer establishes an enormous advantage and dominates simply because its initial concept was significantly better than everyone else's. That is why a new performance balancing mechanism has been introduced. Manufacturers whose power units fall sufficiently behind may be granted additional development opportunities, including extra testing or technical resources to help them close the gap. It is not designed to reward failure. Instead, the intention is to prevent an underperforming engine from becoming permanently locked into the regulations while the strongest manufacturer continues to pull further ahead. Vasseur has publicly supported the principle behind the decision. According to the Ferrari boss, the scale of the 2026 challenge cannot be underestimated. Teams will not simply be adapting their current cars. They will be dealing with a new power unit, a different chassis philosophy, new aerodynamics, unfamiliar tires, sustainable fuel, and an entirely rewritten technical framework. In other words, almost none of the established performance order can be taken for granted. For Ferrari, that represents both a risk and an opportunity. The Scuderia has invested heavily in its 2026 power unit program, but the true competitiveness of each manufacturer will remain unknown until the cars reach the circuit. Mercedes, Honda, Audi, Ferrari, and Red Bull Powertrains are all approaching the regulations with different levels of experience and completely different technical concepts. Someone will inevitably produce the strongest engine. The FIA's new mechanism simply aims to ensure that the others are not condemned to spend half a decade attempting to recover. However, Ferrari should not view this as a safety net. Even with additional development allowances, the manufacturer that understands the regulations correctly from day one will still hold a major advantage. Extra resources may help a team recover, but they cannot replace a strong initial design, reliable systems, and effective integration between the engine and chassis. And that may be the most important detail. Ferrari's success in 2026 will not depend solely on horsepower. The new power unit must work efficiently with the car's aerodynamics, energy recovery systems, and electrical deployment. A powerful engine that consumes too much energy or struggles to integrate with the chassis could still leave the team vulnerable. So, has the FIA handed Ferrari an advantage? Not exactly. What it has done is reduce the risk of Ferrari or any other manufacturer being trapped with a fundamentally uncompetitive project for several seasons. The real question remains unchanged. Can Maranello produce the right concept from the very beginning, or will Ferrari be one of the manufacturers forced to rely on the FIA's recovery mechanism? Let us know your verdict in the comments. Does this rule make Formula One fairer, or does it risk protecting manufacturers that simply failed to build a competitive engine? And for more Formula One news, analysis, and stories from behind the scenes, subscribe to the Paddock Vault and switch on notifications.